seconds. Getting into the DAO news today. And then second hour, we're going to have some folks perhaps from Shapeshift to chat about all the awesome stuff that's happening down in Latin America in the next couple weeks, and I think over maybe the next month or so. And so we'll chat about a number of things in addition to the general news overview this week. Let me make sure I'm pulling this through properly to YouTube. Rohak, my man, if you could give me a thumbs up in Discord if everything's streaming okay on YouTube. I want to make sure we capture it this week. Last week I said I sort of forgot to get us rolling proper. But to begin with, I want to, again, direct everybody to 1HTV on YouTube or onehive.org and check out more about the OneHive DAO. And I would say for people who may be either listening today or watching, listen on YouTube after the fact or here on Twitter, if you're interested in contributing to I would say a DAO reboot, sort of hitting the restart button. A lot of DAOs are at interesting points of inflection. I think OneHive is at one of those points in time in its life cycle. And so what I'm trying to say here, I guess, as a CTA is if you're interested in contributing to help build a DAO, build back in this bear market and in the sort of new wave of tools and technology that are available. OneHive's a great place to do that. Heading over to the Discord, there's a lot of really smart, dedicated people that are still here working, but we're trying to refine our vision of what the DAO is going forward. And so if you have interesting ideas, maybe if you've been on the sidelines, you've been an observer, maybe you've listened to shows here on the Twitter space, or you've seen content that's been published on Medium about OneHive, and you've wondered about how you might contribute. This is a great time to get involved. So I just wanted to. This is not shilling OneHive per se, but more sharing that OneHive is a very open, welcoming community, and is always open to new and good ideas. A lot of really smart people in this space. So on the OneHive side, again, onehive.org, you can learn more about the DAO. Its brief history really is the organizational tooling that you find on Gardens. And Gardens, of course, has their own Twitter page here on the Bird app, and you can check them out as well. And Gardens, again, is a governance front end for DAOs and enables on-chain community decision making. I think to get into the nerd side of it, it basically means you can operate a DAO without a multi-sig. And this is an important innovation and something that I think you'll probably see more of in the coming years, right? Because sufficient decentralization, right, is a thing and a big question. And the definition, and bright line, at least legally, definition is still emerging. So I want to, and I see Rohak is, I know you're with us, my man, and I want to make sure, I'm going to keep an eye on Discord here if you can just ping me with regards to what you want to do on the Shapeshift side of things. There's a couple just cool things I think we should be sharing regardless, but if there's anybody that is going to be joining us at the top of the hour, let me know. If we want to just build in a segment here to chat a little bit about the stuff that Shapeshift's up to, we can do that too. Of course, I am a contributor at the DAO there. So Rohak, just hit me up. Let me know what you prefer, man. We can do either of those things. Edo, Jim, let me see. I don't know which works best. It seems as though there are certain things that tend to break Twitter Spaces more easily than others. So if you can request to speak, I'll keep an eye on that really quick. And if that doesn't work, then I'll send you one. Approved. You got it, Jim, man.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing better now that you're here. How was your weekend?
Good. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can. How about me?
Yeah. It's because I'm in it's a small town in the coast, and the thing is that and this is an excuse for everyone who is listening today. Basically, I didn't bring my phone charger, so I couldn't connect from my phone until now. So there you go. All right. How was your weekend?
But it's good, you know. Had a good few days here, and the weather's been nice, so I can't complain. Definitely getting cooler, and we get all 4 seasons where I'm at, so definitely the end of summer is coming. Winter's coming.
Are you watching the new season of House of Dragons? Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen it yet, man. I haven't. I have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. Well, share their feels. I'll get it up on the screen.
Imagine we become suddenly a Game of Thrones review news shows.
No, but yeah, hey, you know, it's an important piece of pop culture there. So if you have a take, feel free to share it. Other people who Game of Thrones fans. I don't
Will do, for sure. Do you
What did I watch?
do you want to
Lord of
start
the Rings. I've been watching Lord of the Rings. Yeah, good.
with? Oh yeah, I love. Don't get me wrong. I love Lord of the Rings, and I feel like it was better done than Game of Thrones. First, there was this meme going around about
Okay.
the Lord of the Rings that says like it was like gif of someone like desperate or like really like anxious, and it says like this is the 5th episode. Please, something to happen. We need something to happen, and it just stuck with me.
Yeah, I yeah, it's interesting you say that. That's a good comparative analysis because I've only seen one, and I have my opinions on it relative to even just the movies. Right? I saw Lord of the Rings, and my wife and I are sort of critics of this. It just, the storyline's interesting. We won't get into that. It's not a film critic show, but I got to ask you: were you like I was never a huge Game of Thrones fan in the past. I have friends that were like nuts, but were you someone who is into like fan fiction stuff and all that?
I will just say that I was the kind of teenager who spent a lot of time on Harry Potter forums. So that will explain
Okay, okay,
most
got you.
most of my behavior. I'm the Game of Thrones. I mean, um, yeah, I was not a reader of the book, so I cannot say much. But I like the shows. I like characters. I like some characters out of the show. But yeah, it became messy. Like everyone complained at some point. So at the end, I was not so convinced. But I don't know. This one seems to be sort of better. We will see. If you're talking, Ted, you are muted.
Yes, I heard you die, and indeed, I clicked the wrong button there. Well, if people have strong feels, share them in the comment section on the pop culture side of things. Glad to see folks with us here. Pow and SKTBRD, Skatebird, and a Shapeshift folks who can be joining us here. So we will cover the news first, and then bring you guys up and chat on all the cool stuff going down with Shapeshift, particularly down in South America a little later in today's show. But what do you think, Edu? Do you have a specific story you want to start with today?
Not really, but I like your Safe Grants program one. So we can start with that, and then we can develop.
Is it Safe DAO, son?
Yeah, the Safe DAO one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just as a reminder, folks, we're going to have everything up on YouTube. And last week we had a great example of why it's good to watch on YouTube when we were talking about Snapshot. And so if you have a chance, head over to YouTube, 1HTV, 1HTV. We're starting to just try to grow that channel a little bit and provide this extra layer of value when we're doing the live show. There is a bit of latency, so if you're trying to get like up to the millisecond or up to the really, I think the 1.5 seconds, 3 seconds, I don't know what it is. Like Twitter Spaces is going to lead, but YouTube is an interesting resource, and of course it is recorded there. So if you're looking at it right now, you'll see the Missouri governor. So we use this in Snapshot as largely as our sources of truth. And so I clicked an already to Safe DAO. And just for some context on this, I don't know, Ed, do you want to provide any context on Safe DAO before we dive into the proposal? Any background info, or you want me to?
Sure. So the Safe DAO, it's basically a Gnosis spin-off DAO. So many of you may be familiar with the XI ecosystem and Gnosis DAO sort of process of getting bigger and so on, how they are improving and branching out in different aspects of the protocol, not only what made them famous, which was the Gnosis project. And part of that, it has become the Safe DAO. And the Safe DAO, it's basically the project related to the Gnosis Safe protocol, if you can say in that way. And they are launching a Safe Grants program. I mean, they are launching a bunch of stuff. They already announced weeks ago about the Safe token, which is I think it's the first token outside the GNO token and outside, of course, the XI token that they are going to start sort of using. So we will see how it goes. And they just, as you mentioned here, 4 hours ago, they post this proposal for a Safe Grants program SGP, and basically it's a very typical grant proposal. They say that the purpose of this Safe ecosystem proposal is to gather support within the community to pass a vote to allow the formation of the Safe Grants program. The mission of the Safe Grants program is to provide valuable resources to help grow the Safe brand, ecosystem, and the Safe token utility. And the program can start small, and if successful, it could grow to fund decentralized protocol development, hackathons, new UX tools, marketing efforts, documentation, tooling, and so on. And as a grants program is an objective process that cannot be easily automated, the proposal calls for a small committee of at least 5 members to review proposals and deliver an efficient, predictable process to applicants. So I think, they also talk about a little bit about the budget, since 100K of Safe or USDC per month for 6 months. Which is interesting of this is the fact that I feel this sort of format of doing grants as a way to evolve the ecosystem seems like a norm nowadays. What I'm interested is to see, there is a lot of grants program and so on around the ecosystem, but I'm curious to understand, like, sometimes I don't see the results, and I feel there's a lot of effort put into the grants programs across the ecosystem, but sometimes follow-up it's missing, or at least to me. But yeah, anyways, what are your thoughts on this, grants?
Yeah, that was a great intro, man. And we got the forum up on YouTube right now. I also linked it below the show. I think I put in the right tweet. I got to figure out actually how to do this better, because this sharing of tweets within the Twitter space is kind of cool. But you should be able to find the link below. I think I put it in the right spot, take you over to their forum page that gives you all the relevant details. So I'll just tackle that first a little bit, and then I'll speak to your question, Edu, before we move on from this. I think the specifics are here, as Edu said, that Safe DAO has recently launched, and the token, the conversation about token distribution, the Safe token distribution, is a rabbit hole into itself and highly interesting if you're into that kind of thing. We're not going to get into that now. If you want to learn more about the Safe DAO and the pending Safe token drop, if it hasn't happened already, I don't want to misspeak on that, but the initial distribution of the Safe token, head over to the Gnosis forum. There has been an active and lively discussion around that. So yeah, if you're not aware, obviously the Gnosis multi-sig is a industry standard, right, for funds management, and the specifics for this grants program look like essentially standing up a committee that would see roughly 20K per member per month for 6 months. I think the ask is like 600K worth of USDC to stand up this committee that would then stand up the grants program. It doesn't seem to name any specific people here, so we'll definitely keep an eye on this, because I think that this is the beginning of a much larger, obviously, program. This is simply asking for the budget to stand things up and get them rolling, and then most likely a subsequent ask for the grants resources in general to actually give grants. So that's not specifically addressed in this proposal, but it will be in the future, no doubt, and something to keep an eye on because. I think in some ways this show, I've been thinking about this recently, our show here on Monday in many ways is alpha on grant funding and employment in Web3 as much as it is is not a shitcoin to buy, right? So this is, in some ways, it's a different sort of information we're sharing with all of you, but I think this is basically the beginning of a grants program of a new DAO that is connected to an absolute industry gold standard piece of technology. So it's definitely worth taking a look at. To the bigger question, and I'll shut up here. Sorry, I'm ranting a little bit, but Edu, to your larger question about the efficacy of grants programs, I couldn't agree more in the macro sense. We've looked at so many of these different programs over the last 6 months. You and I have been probably involved in different grants allocations, and you look at some of the larger blue chips, like Uni, and more recently. Basically, after going through different iterations of grants since launching the Uni token over a year ago, decide in the context of this bear market to create a specific foundation to optimize their grant giving. And obviously, it appears by comparison, the Safe DAO is spinning up a committee within the DAO itself, but procedures that tend to be points of potential friction for getting things done are unclear. So we'll just have to see how it works out for Safe DAO. And I hope, obviously, I wish all the best. I mean, I will be a small Safe token holder. I'll probably, not financial advice, folks, but if there's one token I'm probably going to go and DCA into over time, this might be one of them. Again, not financial advice, but I'm just telling you what I'll probably personally be doing, just because I think it's connected to real quality projects. So I wish them all the best.
Interesting is how these bigger companies are following the same scheme as everyone else. So I'm looking forward to see what will come out from this program, and also what will be the follow-up, and if they put the same effort on sort of advertising the results and advertising a follow-up in, let's say, 6 months. But overall, for me, the Safe sort of situation with the token is it's a rabbit hole. But I felt it's a really hard airdrop to do, on choosing the parameters of how do you define someone, that is a challenge on itself. I don't know if they succeed or not, but I do believe it's a challenge in itself and an interesting one, because I guess things like MetaMask will suffer the same kind of, if they ever do an airdrop, which I believe they will. I think it will be the same challenge. How do you pick from people who have 5, 6, 7? What is the criteria to choose people eligible for the airdrop? And I think it also speaks about an incentive model that it's becoming exploited and not necessarily paying back what people expect. Paying back not economically, paying back in the sense to the organization who create this airdrop. So we will see.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing, because I think what you just mentioned is, I agree entirely, and in our case, somewhat explicitly, we've been involved at a much smaller scale, obviously, with the complexities of token distributions of new projects, let alone if you have a project that basically already has mass adoption within the context of the crypto space, and therefore you have institutional investors that want a part of the Safe token, they want a part of the initial token distribution. And in some cases, you look at this, and I want to speak too much out of school here, but you think about it, okay, if you're launching a DAO, you need stable coins to fund ecosystem development. If you just mint tokens, doesn't matter how big your project is, you're just going to be creating inflation to do that, right? So in a sense, I don't know where the capital comes from, but we're looking at a grants program, the early iteration 0, their grants programs to stand the thing up and get people paid to do that thing. Where does USDC come from? I'm not sure, but it seems plausible, right, that if you have formal VC investors, that they're essentially enabling the runway in exchange for token distribution. But that automatically intersects with what is in effect one of the most effective grassroots adoption of technology, and which is specifically the multi-sig. So you have this point of friction in some ways between community users and I don't know if this is corrected, but the last thing that was discussed in the forum, for example, was whether or not, or the extent to which safe users on Gnosis chain would be getting a safe token drop. Right, so like these very specific community-driven conversations are definitely happening on the forum, and the complexity, like you're saying, Edu, is like you can't please everyone, obviously, and so I certainly think that Luke and these guys are doing the best they can to deliver the drop that can be the best for the long term of the project, which is I guess the best you can do, right?
And talking about grants, have you, this is a public announcement or public question, have you done your part of Gitcoin round this time?
I'm really glad you brought that up, man. Here's one of my tabs to like put on screen. So yes, so round 15, folks, if you haven't participated, you have 3 days left. So yes, I'll share a link here as well to the kickoff link in case you don't have it on Twitter. Which projects do you like this round in?
I took my time to find what was going on this round of the Gitcoin. I knew that the ENSK allocated to it, and the reason why I bring this up is because I was just searching for projects and so on, and it came to my mind there's a lot of projects who are inactive who receive funds, and it's like it's not on a bad mood to. I feel we should be more responsible to, if we are allocating or giving a platform to give funds, we also should embrace accountability at some point. And having this, inactive grants, anyway, it seems a little bit weird to me. The ones that I gave funds to were like these. I really love the decentralized sciences section of Gitcoin this round. So I gave funds to DeSci Africa. I don't know if it's pronounced like this, but I will pronounce it like this, which is supporting scientists in Africa through decentralized sciences. Like, can you imagine the potential of if I have a science project, a science protocol, or let's say a science study in Panama that has very similar climate, very similar behavior, very similar conditions to another study in Africa, how these two things can be connected to blockchain. That for me is something like very powerful because of how science sometimes is looked on a very local aspect. So having this opportunity to have decentralization for sciences makes a lot of sense. And they are so far, they have raised 4K, almost 5K on estimating the collaborative funding match. I also gave funds to ENS University, which is basically a landing page for people wanting to learn about ENS. I also gave to Minority Programmers Educational Cohort because it's about programmers in minority communities, and I felt that was something important. I love another one that is called GitHub for Scientists, which is a friendly research data management and publishing platform. Publishing, for those who are not familiar, publishing is a struggle for scientists. My parents are scientists, my sister is scientist, my entire family said about me are scientists, and all the time publishing a paper, it gets so troubled, it's so expensive, access paper. So having this option, so I funded two like this. One is this one, the GitHub for Scientists, that is called, this is really hard for me to pronounce, so I won't even try. And the second one is called Scholar, that is a crypto native scientific publishing. And then to the families of Praise. Praise is a project of reward system, TEC. One Hat Gardens, I also gave some funds to Wesley. Wesley, if those who are not familiar, Wesley, it's an amazing guy who created this project called Token Lock. It's a sort of a snapshot, but let's say, and he has many projects, a lot of them very useful. The woman empowering NFT project with one of the very few tokens that I have seen. They basically provide women through NFTs. Of course, TEC and the Rod Key, just because Lefteris has been a source of truth for so many things, and this is his project called Rod Key. It's a portfolio tracker and accounting tool. So those are the things that I funded. How about you?
Yeah, man. That's a great summary. On 1HTV on YouTube, I got the GR15 homepage up on the screen if people are sort of following along there as I did talking. So you can just see the top cat. Like these are the main matching categories. I'm just going to do this real quick in case people might not be familiar about how Gitcoin does these matching rounds. What you're looking at here, and if you go to gitcoin.co/grants, this is their 15th round. These are different categories that contain matching funds, but matching funds are distributed using an algorithm known as quadratic funding. This is really nerdy, really quick, but if you we're all nerds here. Get the fuck out if you're not a nerd. And I'm joking. You're all here in the bear market. Like this kind of thing is actually really interesting and creates unique Sybil resistance challenges, which Gitcoin has addressed. But Google those things. I won't take up show time today necessarily if people already know this stuff, but if you don't have quadratic funding, really cool. They should have a video of it someplace on their webpage. But it essentially helps to distribute matching capital to community-driven and community-supported rather than whale-supported grant recipients, or donation recipients, rather. The DeSci category, just speaking to what you mentioned, that I think is really worth taking a look at in general, they got $500,000. So it's a big category in general in terms of the matching funds available. And decentralized science is one of the things I'm most bullish on as far as end game for like the tools we're building, to be honest. There is I'm just going to come out and say, I don't really care. I think the regen slogan and name keyword is interesting, and it's a great play on degen, but it's been a rough ride for some of the projects in that space. I think DeSci is in my opinion, is a better terminology because it's really about decentralizing scientific principles, specifically data collection. And this is like a whole rabbit hole unto itself. I'm going to show one project in particular that I've sort of done some advising with, and their team is amazing. And this is Moon Jelly. I think they should be under the DeSci category. I haven't been a part of their Gitcoin thing, their Gitcoin effort, but they're dedicated to decentralized science, and specifically what they call DCON, which is decentralized conservation. Their goal is to empower local communities around the world to address specifically ocean conservation in the ways that they know best because they fucking live there, but providing resources. And so as a very big idea, they are having a lot of interesting conversations about how to leverage decentralized technology, on-chain governance, these sorts of tools, not specifically a DAO per se, but to basically, to help leverage the knowledge of humans everywhere to conserve the ocean. So I would recommend them specifically just because I'm heavily biased. So there it is. But yeah, check out Moon Jelly. I won't take up any other today's show on specifically on the Gitcoin round, but it's definitely worth people's attention, I think, to take a look at those different categories and DeSci in particular. Anything else you want to mention, Edu, about Gitcoin?
No, just that there are 3 more days to go. And I think if you have a project that is a public good, Gitcoin rounds are focused on public good or related to any of the special categories, please take a look at the grants, learn from which one was most successful, template it, next round, GR16, put your proposal, don't underestimate the visibility that it brings, don't underestimate the funds that you can get, all the validation funds from for the community. And yeah.
So you're cutting a little bit there. I don't know if you've moved locations, but it's just a little bit choppy.
No, it's just the internet in this place. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, you're good.
All right. No, that's all. So we can move to the next one, which is a simple one, Uniswap.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And just another CTA really quick, folks. 1HTV on YouTube. We got as the visual overlay there, so you can sort of see what we're getting into. Do you want to open with this one, man? You want to dive into Uni?
No, I think it's a very simple one, which is basically the deployment of Uniswap v3 on CK Sync. Are you a user of CK, by the way?
Yeah, I've tinkered with the different apps that are live, including one that just launched on Polygon. Yeah, I dig it.
Nice. So basically, it's very simple. This proposal aims to grant a license exemption for Uniswap v3 to be deployed on CK Sync, and of course, an AVM compatible CK rollup by the Matter Labs team. Once deployed, governance will be subject to Ethereum Uniswap protocol governance and will be controlled via the CK Sync messaging bridge. Should the proposal succeed, deployment is expected to take 4 to 6 weeks. And basically, this I think passed already on September the 16th. The census check phase with 15 million votes on yes. So very simple. Every week we see how Uniswap keeps expanding itself. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. This is, I'll be honest, this is more exciting than last week on Aurora, which, by the way, is still active. So, like, let's check out Aurora really quick, folks. This is, if you're watching on YouTube, we got the snap up, and it's like, it says a few more days left, and 12 million. What did this one come with? 15. So it looks like the other one will pass as well. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Aurora, so I don't want to, maybe it's the most exciting thing ever, and I'm just ignorant. But I'm a little more excited about seeing Uniswap on ZK Sync just because of the added layer of coolness of anonymity. Or is it privacy, rather?
There you go. So that's the Uniswap one. Do you have something else on the Uniswap?
No, I want to give a update on that. It's in the temperature check phase. I think both of those will. I think it's safe to say, looking at the momentum, both will probably be live by Halloween, maybe a little later, I guess. And then the ZK Sync estimated how long was it? Yeah, like 2 months, a little longer.
Yep. We can move on to Bankless.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me swip Dope DAO. Come back to that later. One thing about this Bankless news, this was the partnership with Consensus.
I love the name of DAO relationship. That's a new way to describe a relationship. DAO relationship. So this proposal aims to initiate a partnership with Consensus, in which Consensus will secure 50 guest passes for 3 months to independently join Bankless DAO and contribute as they see fit. Consensus will encourage employees to identify and contribute to 1 or 2 guilds and 1 or 2 working groups, and the proposal will allow Bankless DAO a group of new contributors through which they can collect data and refine their onboarding process. I will say that one of the most interesting things for me from Bankless DAO, it's their onboarding process, actually. And having someone from, the Consensus folks who are, I guess, very native to Web3, sort of having this exchange. It really feels when you are in high school and you are allowed to go to Apple or any of these huge companies and you just sort of work for the day there kind of thing. It used to happen in the 90s. I don't know if it still happens. This kind of, one day at work so you can get an idea of how it feels. It feels a little bit like this. I don't know what are your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I linked up actually I'll put it here in Twitter as well. I kind of forget to do that. I got it up on YouTube right now, but let me just post it here really quick. Give me a second. So this is Bankless and Consensus.
The other part that is the other part that is interesting to mention is that as part of this DAO relationship proposal, these 50 guest passes that I didn't know, I've never read that before. I don't know what the guest passes were before. Is to have this trial period to experience the Bankless DAO, but they are purchasing 35,000 bank tokens, which I guess is the contribution that Consensus is putting for having this partnership happening.
Yeah. So the link should be good now. beneath the spaces if anybody wants to look into detail, because there's definitely some interest. It's a lengthy post, right? That's I gotta just show Mazzari again. This Mazzari governor is just badass, man. I mean, they custom write the summaries of these forum posts, for example. So it's really useful if people are like nerds like me and like us. And you just want to get to the top level and then dig down. You can just click on the link. So here it's we scroll down to the KPIs. I mean, obviously there's a lot on alignment in terms of values, et cetera. But what they're looking to accomplish essentially is to they're going to measure their success by the number of consensus employees successfully onboarded to the DAO, number of employees successfully onboarded into a specific project or guild within the DAO, Bankless DAO project and guild leader evaluations of new talent. So I guess this is putting a bit of that onto the DAO to evaluate the performance of these folks that have been brought into the community, and then the total number of consensus employees who complete a joint survey. I guess there's some retroactive exercise there. So this is definitely the first proposal of its kind that we've seen. In the months we've been up to this, Edu, so that's why I wanted to include it. The DAO relationship, perhaps a template for future kind of stuff like this. I have not undergone the formal Bankless onboarding at any point in time. I don't know, Eddie, have you experienced that firsthand? Or just
they have a very good community building process. They keep track of the initiatives. They keep track of their They have dashboards that were quite popular. A few last year list where they basically provide, it's like Forefront DAO that they do very similar, which is basically these dashboards that sort of give a temperature check on the community, how things have improved. You have a dashboard from Discord that they sort of improved and so on. So Bankless has quite a seamlessly easy process to onboard people, and I think onboarding is one of these huge things that no one's able to do properly yet. So it's really interesting to see partnership with Consensus on this, because I feel Consensus has the reputation, of course, and if you manage to, excite someone from Consensus to join your guild, that means you're doing a hell of a good onboarding. So I think it's a very interesting of this news that seems quite until you go through that and you see how relevant it could be in the long term, and because of the wins and the research and the results that people can take from that. I think it's really important.
Very cool. Yeah, and I didn't dig into the numbers of it. Like, if there was, did you say that Consensus was going to purchase 35K bank for this, or I didn't catch it?
Yeah, on the forum post, there is a section that says this, where it says basically the summary, where in the second paragraph they say this: that as part of the relationship proposal, Consensus would like to secure 50 guest passes for a 3-month period, so that Consensus employee can have a trial period to experience the Bankless DAO prior to independently joining the Bankless DAO, purchasing 35,000 bank tokens on their own. Maybe I misread, but that's
cool.
That was my interpretation.
Yeah, I see that there now. Yeah. Well, the larger sort of import here, this cooperation is really cool. We'll definitely keep an eye on this and share more as it evolves.
Yep, you are about right. I'm trying to find the link, but I cannot find the link to the Arbitrum. There is some alpha on this. The Arbitrum Odyssey thread that I saw. I thought I sent it to you, but I cannot find the thread for some reason. And it was, at some point, Arbitrum Odyssey was stopped because the amount of people sort of overloaded the chain. They launched the Nitro, which is a side chain focused Arbitrum Nova. Also, they launched a bunch of products that will help optimize the process of the Odyssey. For those, the context, Arbitrum Odyssey is basically onboarding process to get into Arbitrum. And some people, this is not a financial advice, but people were expecting, or there is an expectation that at the end of the Odyssey, you will then get an airdrop from Arbitrum. And there has been a lot of speculation, yes. And there's a lot of speculations regarding this. And one of the speculations, which is the one I thought I sent to Ted, but seems I cannot find it, is the one that there are roles on Arbitrum Discord that if you have a certain amount of this sort of, let me track back. So build prepared a land page for Arbitrum, and in the guild page of Arbitrum, basically you will see that by fulfilling certain things of certain tasks, you gain access to the roles in Discord. But the thing, and the reason why this folk made this point, this was relevant for the airdrop, it's so simply because this is not for every project. There are very specific projects, and if I was not wrong, most of them doesn't have a token that are requesting, for example, own 0.01 of our token, own or do a transaction or get an NFT from this project. And by doing so, you will get the guild green light and get access to the role on the Arbitrum Discord. So there was this suggestion that these roles may play as well as the Galaxy sort of passport, which is I don't know how to explain it. So the link I will share it. I will share it to you on Discord, Ted, so you can share it. So this used to be where you get the pass. It used to be where you get the first NFT, because the first week of the Arbitrum Odyssey was successful, and they had you can gain an NFT if you did the first week. And there is this webpage, and they rebrand themselves as Galaxy. And if you go there, you can see the campaigns, and there is a campaign for Arbitrum. And they also mentioned that by joining that, could be also one of the things that qualify you to be on their drop. So just dropping that, just in case someone is interested. That's all I'm going to say. Back to you.
And this is specifically Galaxy, right? Or Galaxy.com is the project that's...
yes.
Launch on Arbitrum. Okay. Do you know... I have it on screen, by the way, and 1HTV, folks, if you're watching Galaxy HQ here on Twitter. Is the Odyssey program restarted formally on Arbitrum, or no?
No, not yet. They have said it's going to start in the incoming weeks, because they have finished. They had to do, basically, So yeah.
Got it. Cool. I know we're keeping an eye on that. I mean, you had that scouted like a month before they sort of even had the formal pushback before they then paused it. So we trust in you, Edu. You have the alpha for these things, man.
We will see. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. So, do you think it's due times for the folks of Shapeshift? I think we can maybe pass it on to them, or do you want to talk about one more news before?
Yeah, that sounds good, man. We had, touching some good stories this week, and I'd love to bring them up here. I know you're headed on, and it's already late there, your time, sir. So as always, it's good to cover the news with you. And if you don't have anything else you want to share, then a good GM to you, sir, and we will chat soon, I'm sure.
Yes, and I will just pass the word and probably give the mic to Vlad and Rafa. They are the two folks from Shapeshift who will introduce us to what is incoming. Sorry for the tongue situation. What is incoming for the next weeks on the Shapeshift ecosystem and the activities that they are planning. This is for the Spanish Brazilian community, and we are here multilingual, so hope it goes well. Back to you, Ted.
Thanks, Edu. I appreciate you, man. You have a good day. And GM to everybody else who's with us today in this Twitter space, or if you're tuning in on YouTube, appreciate you all joining us. Hope you have a good weekend. You're off to a good start to the week. We're going to welcome some friends on from Shapeshift here in just a moment. Whomever is in the call, if you would like to speak, I think it might be easiest if you just send a request, and I will I'll grant you access to speak there. And in the meantime, why don't I'll get some tunes playing here just for the bridge over to the next segment of today's show. So everybody sit tight, get some music up here, and we'll have Shapeshift folks with us in just a moment. GM, everybody. All right, GM, everybody. Bring, let's see here, aka Akbar, aka Bear. GM, sir, how are you?
Hey, GM. All good in this side. Let's bring some Spanish.
Hey, man, yeah, we're glad to have you with us. And if there's anybody else who wants to join from the team at any point in time, just send that request, and I'll be glad to bring you up. But yeah, where are you based? Do you want to call you Bear? Should I call you Bear, or what would you like me to address you by?
I mean, something I have some problem of connection, so I will back soon.
Sure, you want to hop off and then come on back? I can shill Shapeshift. In the interim, I'll just riff a little bit. Or, okay, looks like he's gonna reconnect here. So once again, if there's anybody on the Shapeshift side who'd like to join the conversation, share anything, just feel free to request to speak, and we can bring you all up. Bear, you good? Or you want to relog, sir? I do. What's up, man?
Hello, I came to service as a translator.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you need to hop off, man. I'm glad to have you.
No worries, no worries, no worries, no worries. If Rohit requests, I will comply. All right. Rafa, ¿estás por ahí? Rafa, si necesitas, tienes que solicitar el, el mic para poder hablar. Let me know if you need any support. Puedes también escribir en el chat si hace falta o a través de Rohit. Ok. Acabo de ver que I just saw that Vlad says he can only type. But Rafa, what is Rafa? We are calling Rafa. Um, Rohik, do you know Rafa's user? Just by accident. ¿Sabrás el usuario de Rafa, Rohik? Sorry, everyone. We
Hey,
are
Scaper.
having
No, no, no. Yeah, thanks for hopping back up, man.
no worries.
I don't think Roja can speak at the moment, but Scaper, can you hear us?
No, but Skate said that he couldn't type. He put it in the chat.
Got it. Okay, cool.
But yeah, Rafa, it's the guy who is gonna help us today. But I don't know, Vlad, if you wanna start in between Rafa arrives, let me know. You are now have the speaker option.
Oh,
There you go.
hey, I didn't see that. Uh, at first, I was just like going to listen in case there's like any questions about the next Shapeshift adventures in Latin America. But as I see, we're having like some mic issues. I'm putting my butt on fire here, because I really like parachuting here after Hohak explained me everything, but. If you're here to talk about Shapeshift or Cosmoverse or plans to DevCon, maybe I can help while the guys figure out the mic.
For sure. So in the meantime, Rafa arrives. We were just wondering what you guys had planned for DevCon. I think a lot of us will go to DevCon. A bit about what will be shown there from the Shapeshift community.
Oh yeah. First, like our traveling to Colombia starts on in Cosmoverse. We're going to Cosmoverse 25 uh, in Medellin, and we're gonna stay there until DevCon starts. They're not like just one core nucleus of people of Shapeshift coming. There's like some individual contributors also coming. We all know how DevCon is like important to the scene. So before Shapeshift was planning, like some of our contributors are already planning to go to DevCon. So I know Gomez is gonna be there. Developer Giriba, right, is gonna be there. Um, and most of us after Commonverse are going to DevCon. And to tell the truth, there's like another guys are like planning DevCon while I'm like planning more Cosmoverse. So that's part of why I'm like was just listening here because I'm focused on the first operation. I don't have a ticket to DevCon yet. I gotta figure out this. But yeah,
No
we're all going
worries.
there, and we we've been doing like a series of events. We have this collection of cards that you can claim in NFT, and gonna release, and release some stuff in the wallets of the claimers. Uh, we usually make a lot of connections in those events. So after the events, we start like building the partnerships and see how the products can help each other. So I think it's going to be like a big Colombian rush, which is very important for Shapeshift Latin Femi and for my work stream, which is the global work stream of bringing Shapeshift to other stuff. We're expecting to see a lot of old friends there and make some new friends there and have a lot of fun. I'm excited to go. I don't know
Nice.
if I
Thank
answered
you.
the question, but that's what I got.
Yes, you did. Can I ask you? Can you share here on the tweets the links to maybe if you have a calendar of events or talks or whatever dates that you may have settled or links to so wherever people if they are Brazilian speakers if they're Spanish speakers where do they have to go to know more about these events?
Oh, great. We are about to share all of those. As I said, we're gonna like start a series of events that finishes in DevCon. Um, the first one is Cosmoverse, which starts uh, 26, I guess, because we're doing the same day in 26 a party in Medellin, Intercontinental Hotel. It's called Fox Chain Party in the Cosmos of Shapeshift. I'm gonna to drop the link in the comments of this is a Shapeshift side event. It's very exclusive, so make sure you get a ticket. And yeah, I'm gonna share the other links. As I said, I don't know yet what we're gonna do, like in DevCon or like around DevCon. But at the moment that I know the situation, or Hohack or Mr. Bear get into it, we're gonna share the link in the comments as well. Copying the link in right now. I'm a little bit
Yeah,
slow.
I had a chance to connect with a couple Shapeshift guys in Denver, and it sounded like there was sort of a split. Some were going to both DevCon and Cosmoverse, and others were just going to Cosmoverse. But both are happening, obviously, in near proximity, like close to each other at the end of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about Ethereum Denver, I think was the last or one before the last proposal of Shapeshift. It's about sponsoring Ethereum Denver, and it just passed. So Shapeshift will be there, smelling you guys too.
Very cool. Well, if there's anybody else who's in the Twitter space who's going to be able to attend, drop a comment maybe beneath the space here. And it's always a lot of fun to connect with people IRL. Looking even the list here, Blazer, I'm going to give a special shout out to you and Dash. Folks that I've had the pleasure of meeting in person. It's always a great time.
Yeah. By the way, guys, as I'm connecting the computer, as my friend here is connecting an NFT or Rio account, and I'm connected on the phone, I asked him to share the link of Foxchain Cosmoverse Party in NFT Rio account. So I posted there. And what one Hive it's preparing for DevCon? I'm curious. Oh, I see 2Ls is here as well. Hey 2Ls, what's up?
There you go.
So yeah, for
Can you
all
hear me
those
okay?
events here,
Yep.
yeah,
Good.
I can hear you.
Okay. Go for it.
I was just gonna say on all these events, we're preparing some sick merch for the events, some shirts, Shapeshift jacket, first windbreaker we're doing. As I said, the airdrop cards. We also threw in this party of DJ, drinks, and food. And of course, talking about Foxchain, which is like the main, I think it's the thing of the in this timing of the events is what we're gonna be talking about, like our own chain and Sensible. And yeah, I also share some links and some information about it uh, in the Twitter thread we're creating here.
Cool. Yeah. So, folks, if you're in the space here, we got a number of cool links below related to Shapeshift. I think the first one that Rohek added was to the homepage, and you can access the app through the launch button there. And then, obviously, we've been talking about DevCon. And see, are you going to be at both DevCon and Cosmoverse Skatebird, or just the Cosmoverse side? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Sorry, it cut it up a little bit for me. I didn't get it.
I'm sorry. So where are you based out of? Like, where do you live, man? Are you in South America?
I'm in Brazil actually, and I gotta take a vaccine to go. Actually, I'm gonna take this vaccine today to Colombia. Oh, I'm from Brazil. I believe Mr. Bear is coming from Venezuela. Hack here is in Europe, Spain. We have a bunch of contributors all over the globe. many of them speak Spanish, but from different countries. It's going to be very good together in Colombia as it was in Ethereum Barcelona. It's very, I love these gatherings, knowing people from Discords and Theater and say, hey, you're at Mr. Bear on server, right? Bear. I thought you were Bear, you're a person.
Yeah, a real person, not just the avatar.
He's not a bear.
And I think we got Bear up here now. If you'd like to speak, man, just go for it, bro. The Bear. What do I call this guy? What do I call you, man? What would you like?
Bueno, ¿qué tal?
Okay.
Un gusto. No sé si les gustaría hablar un poco en español acá, ya que vamos a hablar un poco en Cosmoverse de que se estará llevando dentro de poco en Colombia, o prefieren inglés que mencionen.
Well, either way, it's always a great time to get to these conferences. I thought about going down to Bogota. I've never been there before. Have either of you guys spent time in that part of Colombia before?
No, realmente no, no es de mi incumbencia que haya ido yo a Colombia antes, aunque es bastante interesante todo el sistema que se va a llevar en Cosmoverse. Hemos estado hablando con varios creadores de contenido que van a estar participando dentro del Cosmoverse. The Last Friday estuvimos con CryptoInforme, que estará llevando un poco de todo lo que se estará viendo en Cosmoverse. Entonces estamos bastante alegres de poder participar y de ser uno de los sponsorships. Además de que, bueno, como mencionó Vlad, bueno, tendremos una fiesta, habrá comida, bebida, DJ y cartas, un poquito de mercancía de Shapeshift, que será un poco exclusiva.
By the way,
I'm
guys, I
curious if
just
you
shared
guys.
in the Twitter thread the Barracuda link of Shapeshift. If there's someone here that doesn't know much about it, want to know more, and of course, like the best way of knowing us is like meeting us in real life. I post this link with a bunch of links and information about Shapeshift. Uh, yeah, that's it.
It's a really nice, like, quick summary of the Fox chain idea. I hadn't seen this piece of content before. NFT Rio, thanks for posting it. It's cool too.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah,
Yeah, so I wanted to.
new era for Shapeshift.
Go ahead.
I think we're gonna be a new era for Shapeshift. Like we came a lot from Ethereum. We know like we're adding Avalanche stuff, and on top of like adding a lot of chains and network in the platform, we're also developing our own Fox chain built on Cosmos, and I think this is very exciting. One of those
Yeah.
things that we're gonna, those airdrop cards that are mentioned, they're gonna have like actually like a POAP there, and you can like claim the POAP from the card if you got us in the party, and then you're gonna drop out some interesting stuff we've been creating in this new Fox chain. So that's a interesting thing about getting the merch. You're gonna have like future gifts, present gifts, and future gifts, and stuff that comes from the future is always cool, like crypto.
Totally. Yeah, I think is Mike Perkin going down to Cosmoverse. That's what he mentioned when I was speaking with him in Denver, which is pretty cool. Seems like the guy who's sort of more or less in a leadership position on Fox Chain.
Yeah, by the way, this all started because Michael also has a speech on the table in Cosmoverse explaining everything. Of course, gonna like be releasing information through the cars and stuff. But if you guys can be there, I think it's gonna be in the first day, one of the last speeches. If not, I'm guessing this is gonna be streamed, so don't miss out the streams information of uh, the events, which is very good for information. In Ethereum Barcelona, I couldn't attend to all of the speeches, but the guys made a very good job, like posting all the talks and stuff, and I watched it, everything that I couldn't later, and it's very good information on the events. I have the sense that you get the information first uh, on those kinds of stuff, or like it's better put it than online, which is like this cloud of informations in their face all the time. So it would be very good to be on top of everything, and of course in DevCon as well, because I think lots of interesting stuff are developed in DevCon, bootcamps, and hackathon. Give itself came from the hackathon of Ethereum Denver, if I'm not mistaken. The new face, of course, as we know today. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Say that one more time, just in case I missed that.
I was just mentioning that what giveth is today came from the hackathon in Ethereum Denver, and I think you can like expect lots of cool stuff being developed both in Cosmoverse and DevCon as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. So many. I mean, One Hive. So right, the project that's hosting this space started a hackathon. I think you'd find a large percentage of what people are working on in some ways traces back to it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so people are going to be there. We have a bunch of links from NFT Rio, and up on screen right now, we got this the Cosmoverse party. Very cool. If you're going to be there, this looks like the place to be. Already got a DJ lined up and everything. Sweet. I wish I could be there. I'm getting FOMO now. I don't know about you guys, but like at least in my experience at these conferences, it really is like what happens around the main stage and the after parties and the evening parties and all that really make it a memorable experience in many cases because that's where you get to connect with people. So this is a great opportunity to do that if you're going to be in. I think this is a Medellin, right? This the Cosmoverse. I guess what do you say? I want to test something out. Are you guys cool to do a little test with FoxCrypt Shapeshift tool?
Dude, I love
What do you
FoxScript.
guys say?
I love FoxScript. I wish you talk more about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering to be like, let's try this. I think HPain, I think is still in this, but yeah, I mean, GM HPain. We'd gone back and forth, and so I want to actually test this live. And let's see. So what I'll do is I'll do like a really quick shill, like explanation of FoxCrypt, and then I want to use it for giving people Fox tokens. It'll just be like a quick, like short sort of drop, but you could win some Fox tokens. So like if you go to YouTube, 1HTV, I have up on screen the UI for FoxCrypt, and the link to it, of course, is below the space here on Twitter. So you can access it from here, the tool. But if you just want to watch what we're doing and how it's done, it's nothing rocket science, but it is on YouTube right now if you're just interested in viewing it. So it's the URL is as FOXCRY, so foxcry.pt, which is really FoxCrypt. Okay. The way this thing works is, well, so this is open source. It really is a public good. It's a private messaging tool, like kind of like a primitive, and you can type any message you want, or it says type your secret message. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, I could type here, GM everyone, okay? you type whatever you like in there, and then you have really two options next. One, you're going to share this message with somebody else, but it's going to be encrypted. So you can choose to receive a notification when it's read. In that case, you'd share your email. But in this case, I won't do that, and you're not required to. But the purpose of this tool is to essentially share encrypted messages that have a self-destruct feature. And what that means is once you type your text here, if I click save it, okay, it's going to present me with a single URL. Right? It's going to generate it. And then I can share that with anyone or anyone's people, multiple, that I wish. And it can only be used once. So the first time a person or the first person to use the URL would see the message, in this case, jam everyone, which is like, I just realized highly inappropriate for actually just giving one person a burn message. But yeah, they'd be equally confused. So they'd be able to see it, jam everyone, wondering who else it's referring to, because no one else would be able to see it. Anyways, person gets a link, first person to click the URL gets to view the message, and then that's it. And it can no longer be used again, is effectively burned. And if you're interested in learning about like the technicals on this, like short docs and what it can be used for, there's great helpful links at the top of the page here. Foxcry.pt, Foxcrypt. Really simple tool. It's easy. It's free. And what I'd like to try it with today is to put a secret code in. I'll share the link here. Like I'll just drop it in the comment section of the Twitter space, and whoever DMs me first, what should we say? You guys want to help me? Like I'm shooting from the hip here, so maybe I got rules on like a rule. We're just gonna test this together as a small group. I'll say whoever DMs me first with the right secret code, I'll just be one person. I'm realizing. Then you get we'll do, what is it? Under 5 cents right now. So I'll send this person $5 in Fox. Right. So we'll try this. I'm gonna put a super secret code, not on YouTube. To get that part right, and then I'll share the link in the comment section of the Twitter space, and let's see who has the fastest clicking finger or something like that. I'm really curious to see how we could use this as like an engagement tool for this show or for other shows. Like we're thinking about doing a little, even potentially, if it is relevant, some type of experiment around this tool. People can come up with interesting ways to use this. Maybe you could win a prize. I don't know. We'll see. Foxcrypt, head over there in the meantime while I get this set up, and you can experiment with it yourself. foxcry.pt. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm now going to change what's currently on the screen. I'll go back over to Foxchain, and then I'll get this set up on my own here. So let's see. If you're hanging in there, folks, give me 30 seconds, and I'll share a link and see who can click it first to get free Fox, and we'll test the tool in the process. Okay. Okay, so it's ready to go. We'll see how this works. I'm going to post the link. Well, I'm not actually going to give any description because it should just be people here who are listening. So if you're here and listening and engaged, I'm going to post a link in the comment section of this Twitter space, and you can see you can click it first and send me the secret word in my DMs. Now, my meaning not OneHive, like me, 2 Wells personally. Let's try it. Here we go. Here's the secret word. It is in thread. Anyways, a little fun experiment, folks. You could, this is, again, not something that only I have access to or Shapeshift people. This is an open source public good here that enables single-use encrypted messaging. So check out Foxcrypt. It's cool. It was built by Shapeshift and maintained by them. Really cool. I don't know if you guys, Skatebird or AK Bear, have any thoughts on this or any thoughts on privacy in general. It's definitely something Shapeshift seems to prioritize. All right, Skateboard, you still with us, man? Sorry if I was like ranting for a while there.
No, I just saying that it's a very fun experiment because only the first one will be able to read the message. After it's burned, everyone else is gonna have a message that this message was already read. So, uh, so I think it's a very safe tool of engagement. Nice idea. I'm gonna start using this in Brazilian's Twitter space about Shapeshift. Too bad I can try.
Hey, got it. I think. What's that? Ah, Exodus got it. Okay, Exodus is first there. All right, Exodus, send me your X-Men. On Gnosis chain, I can send you some Fox tokens. So we know it works, Gate, huh?
It worked. Cool. We should be creating some Fox script links to give away in Cosmoverse and DevCon too. We can turn the links in QR codes and just send it to people. We can also create some wallets with Fox and put the seed phrase on Fox script and send the wallets to people too. In form of QR code, which is nice.
Yeah, I was even thinking about that too, like taking the URL and transforming it into a QR code to put on YouTube. So it's like a little extra step. But yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff I think we might be able to come up with to use a tool like this. I know this is sort of digressing a bit, but there's a new project that's launched on Polygon called ZK Bob, and it's live. So this is not anything. I don't think they're doing a big marketing push, but it's a cool ZK tool, and I feel like a messaging service like this it's a cool, like almost like social layer that you could build into some type of app. Anyways, I'm just thinking out loud, but the more I've used it and thought about it, it's a pretty cool, really lightweight tool. I dig it. Well, if there's anybody, also I want to invite folks here from the audience here on Twitter Spaces. Anybody got questions, comments, anything they'd like to chime in with? You can, of course, request to speak, and we can bring you up. And just click that button. And I think we got another 5 minutes or so to the bottom of the hour here. So feel free to join us.
5 minutes indeed, because I have to take the vaccine to go to Colombia.
Hey, well, you have a safe trip, man. And yeah, I mean, share content. Feel free to add me at One Hive, and we can help to spread what's happening down there at those two events.
Of course, and we're gonna be doing videos there too. Can expect some video material.
Very cool. And I'd like to also extend a GM and thank you to Rohek for connecting me with you guys. I know, of course, we've sort of probably cycled around each other over there at Shapeshift in the recent months. I'm glad to connect and help you guys promote what's going on down in Latin America and Foxchain and the bigger projects, of course, the Shapeshift is building here. So GM to everybody, and hope everybody has a good week. Doesn't look like anybody wants to hop up and speak, so it's probably a good time to wrap things up here. And we'll look forward to what Shapeshift is up to in the coming weeks. All right, Skateboard, anything else you wanted to share, man, before we wrap things up? Just want to make sure I give you the floor if you got something else you want to share with
Just
people.
thank you for the space. Sorry, didn't have any script, so I improvised a little bit here. One Hive, those events, Shapeshift, they're all very interesting environments. anything we can talk about it. Like, it's very interesting for us. We're living that like every day. So I think if you we like to talk about anything about it. So if you guys have like any questions, from the basic questions to the more complex ones, of like how to use something, of like how something works, feel free to ask here, or like reach out to us in One Hive Discord server, Shapeshift Discord server. Um, you can DM if you want. If you have some idea that can like be a win-win situation for Shapeshift and their project, or anything like that. We we have some budget in global to like projects like that. If you have 100 Fox too, you can make your proposal to the directly treasurer and Shapeshift. Of course, have to go to the forum stuff. But if you need like help to incubator, like doing something like that, your first proposal. Uh, Mainly if you're not an English native speaker, if you uh, if you need help, if you're talks like Portuguese or Spanish or anything else, if you need like some kind of help to join the environment, to participate, to work on a DAO, to contribute, to create a proposal, uh, or to participate in general, reach us out, find like our language regional rooms there in the Discord server, on the Telegrams you have in Portuguese and Spanish, French, in the near future, also Russian, as the Smith promised this morning. So, if you need help with anything, or like wants to know more, like reach us out. And thank you very much for the space. And I hope to see most of you guys there in Cosmoverse and DevCon and Ethereum Denver, and online in the other community calls that you have. Let's build a brighter future together in Web3. That's it. See you guys. Or maybe put some music.
Yeah, almost forgot to unmute myself. I love your sentiment, man. I really do. Just want to reiterate that, and jam to everybody for joining us. Appreciate you able to make it on here, Skatebird and AK Bear. And yeah, app.shapeshift.com, folks. Check out what Shapeshift is building. Check out the links below. onehive.org, 1HTV on YouTube. So today's broadcast and all the broadcasts are streamed there with a little visual overlay. We have, I believe, another Spanish language and music show open. It's called Sea of Hertz Radio. It's going to be on Thursday, bi-weekly. We also have another bi-weekly program, typically on Tuesdays with Billy Jitsu, where he gets in some like the dev perspective on hacks and exploits and a lot of the big stories that happen throughout crypto and the sort of the broader Web3 space. So appreciate everybody's support. Support your favorite projects on Gitcoin Round 15, and hope everybody has an excellent week. We're going to go ahead and sign off here. GM, everybody, take care. Be well.